doesn't mean you're going to be perfect every time. So let's talk about what your role is and will be when you go out into the workforce. Number one is to create an atmosphere that encourages participation in the health, safety, and environmental process. If you don't learn anything tonight, learn this. Learn that safety, in whatever form or fashion your profession will take you, is all about employee participation. It's about getting people to buy into what you do. And the only way you can do that is to get them involved in the process, right? As a vice president of safety, I can tell you, I don't work out of an office. You'll hear me say it later, probably 20 times. You can't change people's behavior from behind a desk. You can't do it. You have to be outside. You have to be within them. So you have to know that that's what you're going to end up doing, is encouraging that participation. Connect with the people by building relationships and trust with all levels of the organization. If you can't work with the lowest level at that location or the highest level, whether it's a plant manager or a CEO, you won't be successful. You have to learn to work with everybody. You got to motivate employees to perform their tasks or activities in a safe manner. This is what our role is. This is what we do per se. All right? And we'll talk about how to get there here in a minute. And we influence people to make the right choices and decisions. And I should put on there, we influence people to make the right choices and decisions all the time, every time. I can tell you this, that 2 weeks ago, that we had an employee in our manufacturing facility that was using a drill press and was drilling a hole in a part. And as he completed the drill in the hole, he lifted the drill press or the drill up. The part stuck to it. Well, it's on, so it's turning. So the employee, instead of just reaching right above him and turning the drill press off, tried to grab the part. He had gloves on, so you can kind of see what happened. He's missing the tip of his left ring finger. All because he made a dumb decision. Dumb decision. Did his supervisor influence him to make the right choices all the time? I can tell you no. He's missing his finger. Got to look at that. How do we do that? And obviously we're going to be a technical resource. I am a technical resource. I'm a CSP. I can't even quote this stuff. So old now I can't quote things because I forget it all the time. But I'm going to tell you something. In my younger years, I could quote standards right and left. The technical side of things, after about 4 or 5 years in the profession, it's not what it's about anymore. It's about people. I'm telling you now, it's about people. It's about influencing people to make right decisions, to buy into what you're doing. And so, yeah, you're going to be a technical resource, but you got to be a leader. And so what I want to focus on tonight is what it really takes to be a leader, what it really takes to achieve safety excellence through that. So here's what I think. There are 5 things that I think are 5 categories that you need to do very well to achieve safety excellence. Number 1, you're going to have first impressions, and we'll very quickly cover that. You'll connect and build relationships. You'll have to learn to influence. You need to learn to spend some field and floor time. That's critical to the whole thing, but obviously you're going to get commitment and buy-in. Tonight, and I do this presentation a few times, but tonight I'm going to focus on connecting and building relationships and influence. In fact, most of my time will be spent on how to influence people and what that really means to safety excellence. First impressions, man, think about it. You know, they say you can only make a first impression one time. I believe it. Believe me, in safety, that's how it works. When I was a young safety engineer, coming straight out of college, I probably, well, it doesn't matter, probably out of college 6 months or a year, I can look back now and see the influence I had on people, the first impressions I had on people. And they're not good. They're not good. Because it was either you're going to do it Baker's way or you're going to go the highway. And I didn't have a problem showing you the gate. And then they would allow that because most companies are committed to safety, and if the safety guy said it, it was going to happen. That was the way I was. That was first impressions I had with people. With Flogistics and with Goodyear, I think I made a change several years ago and decided that first impression should be one of a guy that wants to make them successful. Somebody that wants to help them succeed. Somebody that wants to make sure that that guy is going to go home to his family every day. That's what I wanted to do. Do not be confrontational. Personal experience here, don't be confrontational. I walk out or I'll show up in the field, and they don't expect me to show up in the field, but when I do, and I do quite often, is I'll show up on a job site somewhere or a lease site somewhere, and it freaks everybody out. You know, they're not wearing their safety glasses, their hard hats off, whatever it is. And that's cool. They know they're wrong. I don't even have to say a word about it. They did it. They put it on. Typically, I don't see a problem with it, but don't be confrontational. Man, be confident. How many times have I seen safety professionals or heard safety professionals talk about what a person needs to do and not know anything about what that mechanic or that worker is doing? Let me encourage all of you. Know what your company does. Know what product you build or you manufacture or whatever it is. If you're an oil and gas services company like I am, we build gas compressors and vapor recovery systems. So if a driller drills a well, we come in, place a compressor on that well after a certain period of time and can compress that well to get more of that resource out of there. All right? Our tagline as a company is maximize your resources. So we build those, we service them, we rent them, we do all kinds of stuff. But I'll tell you, I know how the unit works. I can go out in the field and I can actually troubleshoot a unit. Impresses the heck out of everybody. But let me tell you how I got there. I spent 4 weeks at our manufacturing facility on what we call our test loop. I spent 4 weeks in the field, wearing coveralls, messing everything up. They're cussing me out all the time, telling me that I need to go push some paper somewhere. But I persevered, and I stayed with it, and I learned that. And what that does is it adds credibility to the things that I want to do safety-wise, programs that I want to develop. Because you know what? I know what they go through. It was only 4 weeks. Yeah, I spent a lot of time at night trying to catch up or whatever, but it was 4 weeks that made me confident to what they did. Lead by example. Safety people tend to say the rules apply to everybody else but me. I had a guy that when I worked for Goodyear Chemical in Houston, had a guy out in Niagara Falls. We had a plant up there. And so I went up to Niagara Falls to see this guy, and he had a company vehicle. And we have a very strict rule that it's hands-free, cell phone use only. And I got off a plane in Buffalo, New York, and I was driving down the highway towards the plant. And wouldn't you know that I passed this Goodyear truck up. And lo and behold, the guy on the phone, holding it with his left hand, just laughing like a son of a gun, was my safety coordinator. Imagine the surprise when I honked the horn and waved at him. But you know what? We had a conversation. He was a young kid, and we talked, and I said, you know, you're setting the example. People are looking towards you. You got to lead by example. My CEO in the current company I'm in, we had an issue the other day. He and I were just talking. We were in Wyoming, and we were visiting or touring our manufacturing facility here. And he didn't think he needed to wear safety glasses. And I kept telling him, you know, sir, with all respect, you know, you need to put safety glasses on. All these guys are looking at you. And he realized that, and he put on his safety glasses, and we were okay. But people are looking for you to be the lead. Lead by example. I never miss an opportunity to point out an opportunity or a way that people can lead by example. It's a big deal. We don't only send messages with words, but also with our behavior, expressions, and tone of voice. This is critical in my opinion. If you're going to interact with people, especially the first time, it needs to be a professional approach